Diabetic shoes are shoes that a patient can get every calendar year through the insurance with a insert. So our diabetic shoes are so important because our patients who are diabetic, a lot of times they have neuropathy, ulcers, their feet, they lose a lot of the sensation in their feet. So when a blister rubs on their foot, that could create into an ulcer, which creates bigger problems for a diabetic. Diabetics have a harder time healing open wounds, so we want to prevent those to prevent a longer term problem. Diabetic shoes come in all different sizes, styles, and looks. So I have just a couple here. We have a very popular tennis shoe that a lot of people love. It's got the Velcro. They've come out with more of a sportier shoe. They have dress shoes, the Mary Jane, work boots, kind of an everyday shoe. The patient is able to pick what shoes are going to work the best for them. So it depends on their lifestyle. If they're a walker, definitely a tennis shoe is going to be great. If they like to be outside and working, a work boot, closed-toed shoe. There's just many different shoes that a patient can get for diabetic shoes. You kind of want to know your shoes and your patient as well. If the patient has a lot of swelling in their feet or if they have edema, a Mary Jane shoe like this is not going to be very good for them. When their feet swell, it's going to come out through this part right here and it's going to be really uncomfortable and tight for them. You might want to pick a tennis shoe or a Velcro shoe that you can adjust the laces with to have a wider shoe. If your patient has problems with their ankle and bending, a work boot is probably not going to be the best for them as well. When it comes to the shoes, what we do is we take measurements. This is just your standard measuring stick. You take the measurement of the length of the foot, and then you take the measurements of the width of the foot. And the width goes right through here, and then you document that. Once you have that part done, what you'll do then is you'll take impressions. There's a couple different kinds of impressions that you can take. There is a heat moldable. In order to bill that to Medicare, you need to be a certified orthotics fitter and have a heat moldable gun. Here we prefer to do the method of what's called a crush box. So what the patient does is they step into each side of here and it makes an impression of their foot. So it outlines their foot in order to send off to the company to make the inserts. Once we get the inserts back, this is what they look like. So they're made off of the impression of the person's foot. Medicare and a supplement will cover 3 pairs of inserts every calendar year. If the patient has Medicaid, they cover 2 pairs of inserts every calendar year. Third parties tend to follow what Medicare follows, and they cover 3. Paperwork with diabetic shoes tends to be a little bit sticky. There needs to be some exact points in there. On the physician's order, the doctor writes if the patient has neuropathy, if they have calluses, if they have ulcers. So we need to have supporting chart notes that states from the last 6 months with the patient's diabetic foot exam that reflects that prescription. Once we have that, then we're able to send off to get the shoes for the patient.